Hi guys, welcome back to another tutorial. And in this tutorial, this is what we're going to be building. This is just the product analysis dashboard, and let me walk you through it. All right. So this is the dashboard, and this is for our sales, right? This is what we have for sales. Let's go look at the profit. So this is what our profit looks like. All right. So let's look at insights. Okay, guys. So this is a 4-page report, and we're going to be building this right now. So I'm just going to go open up another report so we get started and build this from the scratch. All right, guys, welcome back. We have a new page and we're just going to, start with everything. But I just want to remind us, if you're new here, kindly hit the subscribe button. This is a way to encourage me to always push out this beautiful content for you guys, and also like this video and turn on your post notification, because of course we're going to be having more beautiful dashboards coming your way. Okay, so let's go get our data, which you would see in the description box below. So I'm just going to go get mine in CSV file. Our data is in CSV file, so I'm going to click on that and just get my data. So this is what our data set looks like. This is a preview, right? So we're just going to go load that in. All right, now we can see our data right here. The next thing we want to do is to go create a measures table. So I'm just going to come here and I'm going to create a table and call it measures table. So this is where I'll be writing all of my DAX measures, so everything stays neat. All right. Now we can see our measures table. So now we have our data and we have our measures table. The next thing we want to do is to walk around this Canva, right? Let's get it to the right size that we want, because we're going to be putting quite a number of visuals in it. So let us go format the page setting, because the page background will be the same. So we need to format the page setting. So we're just going to come here and choose custom. And then we're going to have this as 2000 instead of 720 and 3,000. All right, so this is what we are gunning for. Okay, we're going to leave the background as white because that is what we want. The next thing we want to do is to come to insert, come to your shape and get this rectangle. We won't be doing so much with rounded rectangle. So I'm just going to bring this and push it inward. I'm going to push it inwards. Then we're going to format the color. So we're just going to come here and come to more color. So I have my hex code and I'm just going to paste that in, right? Can you see how bright this is? So I'm going to make it transparent by, 15%. And we're just going to leave it at that. All right, so this is good. Let us also go turn off the borderline for this. Come to style, turn off the borderline, and we're good for now. The next thing I want to do is to bring in a small shape just for that little distraction that we had. Let me just put it in so you get to see it. So we're going to make it like really small, and then we're going to turn off the border and just make this white so it enters very well. So I'm just going to push this in here to give it that. We want to start writing our DAX measures now. Okay, so what we want to do is to check out the product analysis. We want to know how much this product sold, what the profit was as against the sales and as against the cost of goods sold. So we have all of these. So we're just going to get the total of units sold, then the total of the profit, then the total of the sales, and the total of the cost of goods sold. All right. So we're just going to write DAX measures for this now. So in order to start writing your DAX measures, you have to click the measures table so it enters here. So once you click it, go to new measure, and we'll just type total units sold. And we're just going to use the simple sum function. All right. We're summing the what? The unit sold. So this is really easy. And we're going to hit enter. So we're also coming for a new measure as well. And this is for the total what? Total sales. And the same thing, we're using the sum. And what is the column name as well? We'll go to sales. So close your bracket and there you go. We'll also go for the total profit and the total cost on goods sold. So this is what we're just going to do, all right? We're just going to be using the sum here. Now that we have the basic things we need, let us put that, let's put that in the card. We're going to be using the old card because this is the new one. The new one is really good. It has reference labels and all of that, but we'll be using the old one. So this is what our card looks like. So the next one, I'm just going to go with my total units sold, and this is what we sold, 1.3 million. All right. So I'm just going to push this in here. Then just going to make it small. Let me format this properly. I'll come to format your visual and turn off category label. All right. Then I will also come to general and make sure the background is what turned off. So this will just be tiny like this. Then the next thing I want to do is to go get a shape. So I'm going to come here and I will get this normal rectangle. It's just going to be here, but big, because we're also going to be putting the line graph. Then I will format this quickly. So come to style, make it white, turn off the border, then come to shadow and turn it on. But let us make that shadow a bit more beautiful. Okay. So come to shadow, come to bottom right, customize it, go to custom. We're going to put this on 90 degrees. Let's leave the blur at 30. Okay, so this is what we have right now. I'm just going to expand this a bit more. So I'm going to go to format and I will send this backward so we can see the value. All right. So this will be here and the graph will be here. So for this one, we're going to write the title, which is the unit sold. Okay, so we're going to come here and come to general, turn on the title and, write what? Unit sold. Let's make this 30 and we'll align it in the middle. I want my font to be this. All right, now we'll have this. The next thing we want to do for this total unit sold is to get a line graph, an area chart. Just going to come get this here. So now we want to see the total units sold by month. Okay, so just come hit the month name and we would see what the graph looks like. So if you take a look, if you notice, you will see the way this is coming out. Let me make this larger. Can you see the way it's coming out? It is not properly arranged. You can see October, December, November, April. So we need to go sort these columns, sort this month name by the month number, and we're going to do this in the table view right here. So let's click on that. So now we're in our table view, right? So the next thing we want to do is to sort this month name by our month number, okay? So once you get your table view, just come to column. Once you hit on any column, it is automatically going to get you to the column tools, and then you come to sort by column, and then you sort the month name by what? The month number. So hit on month number and it's going to, work on that. You can also click the date and sort it by what? By year, and you're good. So once you're done with this, you come back to the report view. You do this thing again. So let's go get our area charts. So now we're going to put total units sold by the month name, and let us see. All right, you can see that this is different. Now we are seeing, let me increase the x-axis value. And now you can see we're seeing this from January, February, March, just the way it is supposed to be in chronological order. Okay, so this is how it's supposed to be. Now, the next thing we're going to do is just to make this tiny, and because it's going to enter here. So let us format this properly. So come here, we're going to turn off everything for the x-axis as well as the y-axis. That's both values and title. The next thing we want to do is to format the color using our brand color. So come to lines. We don't want our shape to be solid. I actually want it dashed, but if you want it solid, that's fine. Then I want this to be smooth. Okay, can you see how beautiful this looks? Then for the color, I'm going to go choose our color, right? But I'm then going to make it a bit more transparent so that it just blends in. All right, so let's push this in. Next thing we want to do is to go to general and turn off the title. Then come to effect and turn off this background, okay? So we're going to just push this in here. So you guys, this is what we have. The next thing I'm going to do now is to hit this, copy and paste it, and put the remaining 4 by the side, okay? So I'm just going to do that off camera. Copy this, put it by the side. Copy these names as well for everything. Copy the names and the line chart for everything and put there. So okay, guys, welcome back. I've been able to do all of this, and now you can see I have copied and pasted everything except for this one, because here we don't need any graph for it. And also we'll be changing this, we'll be formatting this color to a purple color. All right, so let's just do that. And we're going to go to style, then come to color and make it what? I have the hex code, so I'm just going to put that here. All right, so this is what we have. Now let us fill in the right things here. So for this place, we're going to be having our total cost on goods sold. So we're just going to come here and drag in our total cost on goods sold. And we can see we have 102 million, but this is not properly formatted. So hit on the measure right here. You want to format it with the dollar sign, right? That is the currency. We also want to format it with, okay, it already has 2 decimal places, but let's make it just 1 decimal place, okay? All right, I think 1 decimal place is totally fine. We're also going to format this to 1 decimal place. So next thing you want to do is to come here to format your visual, go to general, come to your title and format this title to total cost on goods sold, and there you have it, right? So the next thing we want to do is to come to the chart, to the area chart, and do the same thing, which is getting the total cost on goods sold and month name rather than unit sold. So this is what we have. We're just going to come here and format the color. So get that color, and you can see it is the same thing. So we're also going to do this. This is for the sales. So you guys, we are done with this part. So for this last one, what we want to see is the most sold products. Okay, so we want our stakeholders to see which products actually did the most in sales. So for that, we're going to write a DAX measure. So hit your measures table right here, and we're going to write this together. So come to new measure. So we're just going to write most sold products. So for the most sold products, what we want to see is the top one, right? The top product that was sold. So for that, we're just going to use the top n function. So when we get the top n, we can see the number for the value. And what we want is the number one. We don't want number two or anything. So we're just going to use a comma. Now we want to get the values. So we want to get the value from the column name. Okay, so the value from the column name, which is product. What the value is doing is it is returning a single column of unique values. Now if we are to see this, what we're going to see is just that 6 unique product names, right? So when we see the 6 unique product names, we're going to see the total sales of all of that product. And it is the one with the highest sale that the Power BI is going to return to us, because remember, we are asking for the top one. Then we'll close the bracket and we'll use a comma. So this is returning it. And what do we want to see it by? We want to see it by what? The total sales. So you can see order by expression. So we want to just get the total sales, which is the DAX measure we have written. Okay, so now that we have this, we're just going to do what? Close our bracket, and that is that. So let's hit enter. And once we hit enter, we can see our most sold product right here. Next thing we want to do is to come here, and we're just going to push in our most sold product into this place. And you can see what we have is past year. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is to go format the title and put what? Our most sold product. All right, so we're done with KPIs. Another thing we can also add is the average sales. So if you want to make this smaller, you can definitely add average sales. It is important as well. So let's get started with building the body. The first thing we want to see is really everything by product, because remember, this is product analysis dashboard, right? So the first thing we want to see now is the cost on goods sold, the sales, and the profit by product. So for that, we're just going to get a column chart. We're going to push this downwards and just, everything has to be aligned. So now we're just going to get the total cost on goods sold. We're going to get the sales. We're going to get the profit, as you can see how I'm taking them. And then we want to see this by the product. We can see this is not visible. So let us format this so that it can be more visible, okay? So come to format your visual, come to the x-axis. We're going to make this 25. All right, this is visible enough. Then we're going to go turn off the title. We don't need that. The next thing we want to do is to come to the y-axis. We're going to turn off the title, but we're going to make this more visible. So let's leave it at 25. Okay, this is fine. Then the next thing we want to do is to come to the legend. We're going to put this at the center, the top center, all right? Then come to the grid lines. We're going to leave the grid lines on because they're going to direct us to the amount. So I'm just going to make this 2, or wait, I'll make it 1, but make this color darker so it's more visible. So the next thing we want to do now is to come to our columns and, let's format this color. So let's come with the total cost on goods sold, right? We're going to make this purple, which we have here. We're also going to leave this transparency at 15. I think 15 is fine. Then we're going to come to the series of total sales, and we're going to make this this gray here. Lastly, we're going to come to the series of total profit, and we're going to make this our own brand color, which is this. And this is what we have. All right. How beautiful does this look? Next thing we want to do, well, not turning on any data label, so this place doesn't look clustered, right? So we're just going to come over to general. We'll come to the title. So we're just going to leave the title as cost on goods sold, remove all the total, cost on goods sold, sales, and I like to use this, sales and profits by product, which is what we have. So the next thing I'm going to do is to make it like 30, and I'm going to change this font because this looks a lot darker. All right. So also go back to visual. I'm going to come to legend right here and make this legend more visible. So let's increase the font. Come to your legend, come to text, and make the legend text like 20. Okay, this is better, right? So we're going to come back to our general now, and we're going to align this in the middle so it stays right there. Effect, we're going to go get a shadow, but let us customize this shadow. We don't want it just at the bottom right. We want to customize it. So now we can get our blur to like 20. We can get the angle at 90 degrees. And more importantly, we can make this gray. Let us come to where we're building our visual. And what we're going to do is to remove this total. So we don't see total this, total this, total this. We're just going to see COGS, sales and profit. So for that, I'm just going to, remove the total and hit enter. Right click this, rename for this visual, and, just remove the total. All right, can you see how it looks now? It just made the wordings a lot fewer. So now we're done with all of this. The next thing we want to see is our product sales by country. So we want to know which country is doing the most in terms of product sales. So for that, I'm going to get a bar chart, and I'm just going to bring this in here, the total sales by country. Let's see the country that sold the most. And this is what we have, but let me just make this a lot bigger so you get to see it well. So you can see this is what we have, right? But if you take a look at what I showed you people in the beginning, you can see that our country does not have United States of America here, and none of all these things are written by the side. Okay, so let me show you how I did that. So let me just show you what I'm talking about. This is the particular one I'm talking about. You can see USA is here and all of that. So the first things first is to reduce the USA's name to we can see it is United States of America, right? So let us reduce the name. If you're still watching now, it means you're getting value of this video. Kindly subscribe. This is a way to motivate me to keep dishing out this content for our data community, and also like this video so YouTube algorithm shows people who would need Power BI end-to-end tutorial. If you subscribe, let me know in the comment section, and let us get back to learning. So let us reduce the name United States of America to just USA first of all. And the next thing we're going to do is to reduce the month name as well, from fully written January to just, we're going to shorten it to just Jan. So for that, we're just going to come to transform data right here. So this opens up our Power Query editor. And now we'll just go to country. As you can see, United States of America. What we want to do, you can just right click here and you see replace values, right? So just hit on replace values. Now we're going to write what we want to find and what we want to replace it with. So for that, you're going to write United States of America. Make sure you write it the same way it is written. You can see it is capitalized. The first letters are capitalized. So of America. And what we want to replace it with is USA. Remember the dots. All right, so let's hit this. You will see every United States of America now is going to change to what? USA. So in the same vein, we're going to come to the month name. Now this is the month name, and we don't want it this long so that our visual would not necessarily be so huge. So now we have this here. The next thing we can do is to come to transform, come to extract, and let us extract the first characters. And how many characters? We want the first three, right? So let's just hit 3 and hit OK. And now we can see this has been reduced to just the first 3 characters. So these are the things we want to do here. So come back to home and hit close and apply. So now you can definitely see that United States of America has changed to what? Has changed to USA. This is what USA sold. So now we have both labels here, but we want to put both labels on top just to make this a lot finer, okay? A lot more beautiful. So for that, what we're going to do is to just get like a placeholder where we can put 0. So we're just going to come to measure and create a new measure. Now I'm just going to get a placeholder. You can name that placeholder, you can name that empty, you can name it anything really. And we're just going to put 0 in there. So now that we have the placeholder right here, the next thing we want to do is to come to add data to your visual and let us put it in here. So it gives us this small space right here, okay? So as you can see now, we can add something here if we play around with this a lot better. So the first thing I will do now is to come here. I'm going to go turn off my values for the y-axis. I'm also going to go turn off the title, right? Okay. Then next, I will turn off this legend because I really do not need it. Also, I'm going to go to the x-axis and I'm going to turn off the value and the title. So this is what we're working with now. We're not supposed to have label holders here. The label holders are supposed to be up, not down, okay? So for that, we're just going to make a simple correction. And this is where our placeholder is. So we're just going to push it upwards. All right, can you see now the placeholder is up while the total sales is below? That is how it should be. So now the next thing we want to do is we want to make sure we want to write a DAX measure where we are going to put our country. Okay, so for that, so come to your measure, create a new measure. And now we're just going to name this country name. We're just going to put it as country name. And now equals to, we're going to use the selected value function so that, so look at the selected value. So now what do we want to select? We want to select the country because remember it is the country label we want to put here, right? So when we select the country, we're just going to close it, okay? So when we close it, we're going to hit enter. So you can see the country name. So what we need to do is to come to format your visual, go to your data label, apply settings to which series do you want to apply it to? You want to apply it to what? The placeholder series. Do not forget, once we put the placeholder series, we're going to come to value and then come to data options and go to what? Put country name there. Can you see? You can see that in that data options, we have placeholder, but you just come here and change it to our country names. And you can see our country names sitting pretty right here, right? This looks good already. We really do not need to do a lot of formatting, okay? But now the next thing is that we don't want these data labels right here. We want the data labels to be beside it, okay? So for starters, let me just make this 25. So it's like bigger, okay? So now this is the first step. First step done. So the next thing is we want to remove this label and put the label beside it. For us to do this thing now, we're going to come here. All right, so we're going to be creating some variables. So let's just put shift and enter so it comes down. And we are going to put this as a variable. So that's var. And what are we going to name our var? Let's just name it the country, var country. So the next variable we want to create, which is var again, and we want to name this what? Sales, because we want to be able to get the value of these data labels, okay? So we're just going to name this sales and put equals to our total sales, which we have created here. All right. So the next thing we want to do is to press shift and enter and then create, the third variable, which is the third variable is just like basically the label itself. So I'm just going to put label here. And I'm going to say equals to the country. Let me start with this. Okay, this is our country here. So we want to get the country And we also want to put this. So this is how we want it. We want the country, then we want to put this. Okay. So when we say when we get USA, we'll have this little dash mark here, and then we're going to get like $25 million. Do you get something like that? And we're going to put and lastly, we're going to get the sales, which is our total sales. And that's about it. So lastly, we'll just return. So lastly, we'll just return what? The label, which is. So I hope this is quite explanatory. We've got the country, we've got the sales, which is what we wrote in our DAX measure, and what we want, how we want to see it is the country dash the sales amount, and we're returning this label. So let's hit enter. And you guys, as you can see, this is what we have. But there's a bit of problem. Although this is what it is here, it's not being approximated in the millions. So we have to do that. We have to find a way to format this number so it can be properly approximated. Okay, so thank God we still have our DAX measure here. So the next thing I'm just going to do is to come to sales right here and use the format function. So we're just going to format this. So this is the value, obviously, the total sales is the value, but I need to divide this total sales by 1 million in order for it to come out in this million figure. So I'm just going to do total sales divided by 1 million. So the zeros should be 6. Okay, now that is the value. Total sales divided by 1 million is the value. So I'm going to use the comma. What are we formatting it? I want to format it to millions. And a simple way you can use millions, or you can write millions here, is to use this. Don't forget to put your dollar sign because that is the currency. So the dollar sign comes first, and this is 0.00. And we're just going to use 2 commas indicating that, after the first 3 zeros, there is a comma, then the next 3 zeros, there is a comma. Okay, and then we're just going to write M signifying million and close our quote. Then we're going to close these brackets, and then we're done with this. So let's hit enter. Okay, so now we can see what we have, right? You can see this is the same thing. Okay, so this basically means this basically means 2 decimal places, right? And this is this is the 2 commas signifying million. If we have billions, we're going to have 3 commas, okay? But now, what if I don't want it in 2 decimal places? I'm just going to come here and remove 1, and I'm going to hit enter. And voila, we can see this, right? So this is exactly what we have right here. Okay, so that is it for this particular one. The next thing we're going to do now is to come right here to data labels and turn off these data label. But once we turn off the data label, you can see everything goes. So you can see everything goes, but we need to turn off the data label that used to be here and leave our USA here. So for that, turn this back on. Then you're going to come to the series, to total sales, and what? Show for this series, turn it off. So the next thing we're going to do is to come and format the color. So for formatting the color, we just come to bars here. Once you come to bars, you come to total sales, because that is what we want to format. We'll come here and we're going to get this color right here. Okay, so lastly, we're going to come to the title, and we're just going to name this product sales by country. So the next thing we want to see now is we just want to have a table that shows basically, everything we have by the product. That is in terms of the cost on goods sold, in terms of the sales, profits, and, discount and all of that. So for that, because we're going to use discount, we have to bring up the total discount. So let's write a new measure for that. That is the total discount. So I'm going to create a new measure. And I'm just going to write what? Total discounts equals to the same way sum of, we're just going to go get the discount, right? Close the bracket and there you have it. Okay, you can see the total discount here. So now we're just going to go get our table. So this is the table we would choose. And I'm just going to bring it down here. Okay, so this is our table. All right, guys. So what we want to see here is let us add data to our visual. So the first thing we want to see is the product, of course, right? So we're just going to get the product. Then we want to start by the unit sold. Okay, so we're going to see the unit sold. Then we're going to see the total cost on goods sold. Then we're going to see the discount. We're going to then see the sales. And lastly, we're going to see the profit. Right, so this is basically everything we want to see. So let us go format this right now. So for that, come to your values. Let us just make this bolder, say 25. Then we're going to go to the alternate background color. We don't want a different background color, so we're going to make that white. Great. So come to our column headers. We're just going to make this 25 as well. So when in this column header, we're going to align it to the middle. So our column headers are aligned. Then we're going to come to totals and we're definitely turning this off. Now, because we turned this off, you can see it became smaller a bit. So we can actually increase this 28. We can make this 30. All right, this looks good. The next thing we want to do now is to make this unit sold. We're just going to put this unit sold in one decimal place. The unit sold and the total discount will be kept in one decimal place. So for that, let us just go to total discount and do that immediately. So we're first going to format this with the currency. So we know it's happening in dollars. After that, we're going to make this one decimal place. All right, so the next thing we want to do is to go to total units sold, and we're going to put this in what? One decimal place. Okay, so now we have that. The next thing we want to do here, we still have quite a number of things to do. So we're going to go to the grid. So let's go to the grid and work on that. We're going to make this, we're going to put it at 10. So there will be a lot of space. But the next thing we're going to do now is to come here and make this white so it's really not that visible. Come to vertical lines, we're turning it on and let us work around that. You can see two, okay, two is not bad. The lines are faint, but I think we can see them. Okay, so we want to go to the border and this is the color, but this is not a brand color. So let us use our brand color. And you can see this changes to pink. This line changes to our brand color immediately. So the next thing we want to do is to come to this place and just start removing all the units, rename the visual and remove the units, the total rather, remove the total and leave this so that we get to see a lot more space. Do you understand? So I'm just going to do that. So now you can see I've removed the total for everything and you can see this place doesn't look clustered anymore. Okay, so I'm just going to increase the values again since we have more space. So make these values, increase it by 2. And I think we're all good for this right now. The next thing I want us to look at is the line chart showing us this sales by month. Which month was which product sold more? Do you understand? So that is the next thing we'll do. But before we do that, we're just going to come here and give this the shadow effect as well as the title. So lastly, we're going to get the area chart because that's what we're working on next. So let's just bring this down here. So for this area chart, what we want to see is every single thing by month. So we want to see, we're just going to get our units sold. We're going to get our cost on goods sold. We're going to get our sales as well as our profits. And we're going to see all of these by the month name. All right, so this is what we have. So let's quickly format all these. Now for our x-axis, we don't need the title, we need the value, and we're going to make this more visible. Let's leave it at 25. Okay, so for the y-axis, we don't need the title, but we need the value. And we're going to leave this at 25 as well. Then the next thing we want to see is to go to the legend. We're going to place this legend at the top center. Okay, so we're going to also go to our grid line. We need the grid line because we're not putting the data labels on. So for the grid line, we're going to put this at 2 and see. Let's make this darker. Okay, so this is better. The next thing is to come to the lines. What do we want? We want a smooth line, first of all, right? So this looks a lot better, right? So with the smooth line, we want the total cost on goods sold. Let's get the color for that. Okay, let me just put this at all. So we change that all at once. So for this, which is the total profit, we're going to use this. Is either we use this or we use this. Okay, so either way. Then for the total sales, which is the blue, the dark blue, we're going to be using the purple, which is our purple. And for the cost on goods sold, we're going to be using our color for that. Now, this is what this looks like. So let us look at our shade area. Our shade area is already 60, which is fine, but we can also make it 70 to like make the color down a bit, put the color down a bit. So this is what we have really. So the next thing I want to do now is just to, work around the title. So let's format this title. So now you see that we have the COGS sales and profit, and this is what this looks like. The next thing we want to do is we want to get our text box and just, put this in here and write out what we're working on. Lastly, for this, we need to come get the slicer, use the old one. So we're going to get the slicer and we're going to just put product in there in case we want to see any single thing by product. So we're just going to put product in there. Let us format this slicer. We want it as a drop down, definitely. And we want to get we want to put this at 25 so we get to see it better. And the values, we're also going to put that at 25 so we see it better. Then we're going to reduce this and I'm just going to push it here. So I'm going to copy this and paste it. And for this second one, what I want to see is the year, because we have 2013 as well as 2014 in our data set. So turn off this product and I'm just going to push this right here. So I'm also going to copy and paste this. And the last thing I want to see is the month name. So I'm bringing in the month name here and turning off the year. So I'm just going to rename this and put this as months. So we're just going to push this all the way and we're going to put it here. Okay, so this is what our dashboard looks like. The next thing I want to do is just to fill in the icons and the logo, all right, which I have made a video for. It's going to be showing up right now in your right hand side. It's going to be showing up in your right hand side. And also I'll put the link in the description box below. Learn how to make your logo so you get to beautify your dashboard. So I'm just going to go get in my logos and I'll be right back. So now my logos are in here safely. The next thing I want to teach us is how to connect these to the different actions that we'll be connecting. Okay, so now let us put this action here. Okay, as you can see, I'm just going to come to this next page. So for this page, let us name this dashboard. So I'm going to open up another page and I'll probably name this what? Sales. I will open up another page and I'm going to name this what? Profits. So it's either you open another page or you duplicate it. And if you want to duplicate it, you can just right click it and you will see duplicate. Okay. So we open up the last page and name this what? Insights, where we're going to be writing all of the insights for our stakeholders. So now what we need to do is to come here, right? Click here, then your action will be turned off. So turn it on. Once you turn it on, let me just show you, it's turned off now. So once you turn it on, you come down to the action and you go to the type. Normally you would see back, but once you come to the type, you would see page navigation. You hit on what? Page navigation. Then it's going to ask what destination, but this is going to be none because we are already in the dashboard section where we wanted to take it to. Okay, so that will lead us to the second one, which will be our sales. So for this sales, now your action would be turned off, but we are going to turn it on, right? And this page navigation would take us to where? Hit on the page navigation, and the destination here would be what? To sales, because that's where we actually want it to be. Okay, so this third one here is the profit page. So turn on the action, come to the type, choose page navigation, come to the destination and choose profit. All right, so the last one here is insights. So turn the action on, come to the type, choose page navigation. Then for the destination, we will choose what? Insights. Now we're in the dashboard. Let us go to our profit. So because we're not in the Power BI service, I'm just going to use Control and click on this one. So it takes me, can you see, it's taking me to the profit page, right? If I duplicated that dashboard and it is here right now, I can also click on the dashboard there and it will take me to, I can click on that dashboard icon and it will take me to the dashboard page, all right? So if I click on here, you will see I'm going to the insights page. Okay. So if I click on which one is remaining? Sales. So if I click on sales, you can see it took me to the sales page. So I'm just going to show you guys this. So I'm just going to show you guys, this is what we had initially, right? So let me show you people from here. We are on the dashboard page already. So if I click on the sales, control and click, it will take me to the sales page. So you can see what the sales page looks like, okay? So from the sales page as well, if I hit on profits, it will take me to the profits page. And now we're at the profit page. So if I hit on insights, it will take me to the insights page. So let's hit on that. Things, okay? So let's go to our own reports. So we'll just go back to dashboard. So now what you just learned right now is how to connect your icons or your yes, how to connect your icons to an action. So that is it, guys. I'm not going to be building the sales, profit, and insights page here, but if you would want me to build that, you can also let me know in the comment section, and I'm going to do that. All right. So if you enjoyed this, please do not forget to subscribe and like, and share this to your friends that would love to learn a very easy and simple Power BI end-to-end tutorial. And I'll see you in the next video.